Good day to all our SAMAA members out there, and welcome to another interview on our I Must Fly YouTube channel. Today we're showcasing the Fun Fly Sig with Rustin Duckmore joining us, as well as a large-scale Sig joined by Justin Gomez. Rustin, if we can just start with you. I mean, Fun Fly is Fun Fly. I was exposed to it once or twice. I'm sure some guys have, they heard of it, maybe they saw it. But if you can tell us just a little bit more, what happens in the Fun Fly Sig? What's exciting about it?
Well, Fun Fly is one of the cheaper options to get into competition flying. We can use virtually any sport aerobatic plane that you can get from your local hobby shop. A stick, for instance, is a great starter. Almost every pilot has got one. So that's what we can use for the competitions. And the competitions, they vary. There's different events, as we call it. So one event might be climb and glide, where you would have to climb for 30 seconds and then cut your motor to idle and glide for as long as possible and land back on the runway. Another one might be touch and goes in 1 minute. As many touches wins. So the event all vary. So it's a great way to challenge yourself with a fun environment. Everyone's there to help everyone, and we're all there to have fun. So, and it's mainly against the stopwatch as well.
I must say, Rustin, one thing I've learned from that is the fun that the guys can have. And it's not just the fun, it's also upping the skills. It's not like with Justin, where they're very particular in their competitions. Here, it can be rough around the edges, and that's, I think, where the fun part comes in. And then obviously, putting 2 guys or 3 guys in the front line and allowing them to compete with those specifications of being a bit rough is always fun. Justin, we all know about the large scales, but if tell us a bit more about your Sig, what that's all about.
Yes, thanks very much, Alec, for organising the interview. It's always nice to get on to a screen and explain a little bit more and give some information out there. So yes, as you mentioned, we one of the biggest Sigs affiliated with SAMAA. And we're lucky that over the last 8 years we've accumulated around about 150 members. So our database has got quite a healthy depth to it. And about 80 of those 150 members are active to this day, flying large scale planes, and a good 60% of those fly competitions. So there would be regional and national competitions throughout the year. So we're very lucky to have, the depth of and the amount of pilots flying large-scale aeroplanes and aerobatics.
What a large spot! I never knew it was that big. 150. You've got 150 members.
Yes, we recently updated the database with all the contact details, taking old databases and combining them with new members and confirming them with Linda and Bob back at SAMAA, which I would also like to take a special mention to say thank you for all their help. They've done a lot of work and they help.
Certainly, yeah.
They help us a lot with admin and organising, and they're super efficient. So a big thank you to them. So yes, we're lucky that we've got that depth of member and pilot.
It is remarkable. And just to go over back to Rustin quickly, your Sig is a bit different in its approach. Like Justin just said, they've got 150 members, 80 of which is active, and they compete. But they compete in regionals. They compete on nationals. Rustin, in the Fun Fly, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's actually very different if we have to look at it. In the Fun Fly, we have 3 qualification rounds, and then the best 2 out of those 3, the top, let's call it top 20 pilots, overall in both classes will get invited to fly the Masters, which is where then it's a new competition, new events, and then winner takes all. So,
what is remarkable about yours, you say in the top 10 or top 20, you've got different categories, which includes veterans. I mean, at an event, you'll have up to 30 pilots competing against each other.
yeah, so at the Masters, we're hoping to have a healthy spread. So we want about 15 and 15 in each class. That's what we're aiming for. And then, yeah, we'll have 30.
What makes it a bit different as well is you might only have 30 at the nationals, but that 30 came from 60 or 70 pilots, that competed and accepted your invitation and actually makes it up to the Masters.
Yeah, it could be. At the moment, we've got 5 clubs that are active. So we've got Silverton, Barnstormers, Whiteheels, Lomac, and Trichard. We're trying to get in Cape Radio Flies. We've got a couple of contacts down there, and they super keen to get flying again. Fun Fly, one of the well-known guys down there, Mark Wolf, who's
okay. Well, obviously, both of you Sigs, and I think with, not excluding the other Sigs, distance is always an issue, especially today with cost and getting, and it most probably, one of the bigger challenges that both of you guys are facing, and certainly something that needs to be looked at in the future. But enough of that. One thing I can say, Justin, to start off with you. You saying you've got 150 members and 80 active members. That wasn't so 3 years ago. 3-4 years ago, the numbers were a lot less than that. What have you guys done? What had happened within your SIG? What made you guys so successful?
Well, I think, what's important and what we did, I say we, it's myself and a couple of guys who really put in the effort, like Stan Fincham, Ian Edwards, Owen Vague, the guys who have been around a long time. And I won't forget to mention the freestyle side of it, which is a bit of a showcase and a bit of a nice to have. Guys like Rustin in the interview with us and Josh Toomey, they put on a real good show. So the pilots are all out there, and we just took it upon ourselves to visit clubs in the Gauteng area, and then we visited neighbouring provincial clubs like Potch and Klerksdorp and a few others out here, out of Gauteng. And you just spend a morning or a day with the guys. You take your large scale aeroplane with, you fly a few schedules, you help the guys with setup, and a year goes by and the guys join, they come to the odd regional competition, and they show interest, and then they join and they enjoy it, and their level of flying gets better, and so that's how you grow the database and the competition and the members in the competition. So it takes a bit of work, but it's totally worth it at the end of the day.
Roster, just how important is it to grow? I mean, the Fun Fly SIG compared to the large scale SIG. One shouldn't really compare the two. I think it's unfair. But for this example, the Fun Fly would be seen as a lesser SIG than the large scale. Why is it important for the Fun Fly SIG to grow?
Well, I think number one, it improves the average Sunday flyer skills. So should he be put in a situation where he needs to dig deep to save his aircraft, he'll have now the skill and knowledge to do it. And then it also, flying Fun Fly will help with flying large scale, for instance. Now you know what the aircraft can do in all different attitudes. You learn how to correct it and fly a line straight and score good points at large scale comps.
I think you're mentioning quite a lot of important points there, and one of the lines that I'm picking up, you say you can meet guys there that's flying large scale. You can meet guys there that's flying helicopters. You can meet all sorts of guys there, and then inquire about another group, another SIG, and then the Fun Fly. It really helps with confidence. Once you go through a year of Fun Fly, like you say now, when you do fly large scale, and it goes inverted for argument's sake, without you expecting it, you would know how to correct it just by what you've learned in Fun Fly. Justin, just over to you. You guys are quite religious in your regionals that you're having. What's your plans for the rest of the year? Nats is done. That was very successful. What's happening now? What's happening for the rest of the year?
Yes, thanks, Alex. We try have 6 regional competitions in Gauteng every year. That's 2 before the nationals in April, and then 4 after, plus the nationals. And then one of the regionals is the Extravaganza, which has really taken off. It's in its 2nd year now, and I think the guys who attended it have enjoyed it. And so that's the plan, and to keep it going. Not forgetting the other provinces, KZN have also done well in organising at least 4 to 6 regional competitions, both in Maritzburg and closer to Howick. So they share a bit of common ground there, and we actually use their scores at the end of the nationals to calculate a seniors award. So if you fly at least 2 or 3 regional competitions in any province, your points and your score and your position will count towards the nationals, and then you stand in line to win a trophy for the best pilot who's actually finished with the highest score in his class. Doesn't matter which class you fly in, and you can actually win a trophy and actually take home some silverware.
Austin, the one thing I can see, last week I was privileged to have an interview with the FPV guys, Yvette, as well as Matthijs. And I can tell you one thing I can see having the second week and the second interview is people going to see the people, and the people around the Sigs is what's making it a success. Would you agree to that?
Yes, 100%.
And that's what creates the socializing, and that's what's creating the draw to it. Flying an aeroplane, buying a second-hand plane, flying it in circuits, it's one thing which can quickly, be boring and be seen as a very simplistic or a one-dimensional sport or hobby. But as soon as you get drawn into a Fun Fly event or into a extravaganza event, it's where you really get to see the different dimensions that our hobby can actually present to the guys out there. And I have to say, and I speak on many guys' behalf, we are privileged to have SIG chairmen who's willing to spend their time and willing to put in the time. It's not easy to serve on a SIG. You've got many ideas, you've got many people, and many things to filter through, and it's not always, there's you damned if you don't, you're damned if you do. And I think you guys are being reservedly being put to one side and not always congratulated on what you achieve. So, for the both of you, let's start with Roston. For the guy out there watching the video, he would like to get involved in Fun Fly. Have you got any contact details and starting tips, Roston? How does he start, and who does he contact to get a bit more detail?
Well, the ideal person would be myself, number one. Alan Fraser from Fraser's Hobbies. He's been active in the Fun Fly for many years and is very knowledgeable on the stuff. They actually have some kits, I believe, that they've worked on a design for Fun Fly for the Masters class, which is nice. Johan Seeling is also another good guy to contact, but he's also been active in it for a long time as well, and he knows all the events, he's very knowledgeable on it. And at each club that I mentioned earlier, there's a club representative who will have the details and information. And if they don't have the answer or anything, again, to me.
Okay.
And, yeah.
And we'll share your contact details as we speak, so the guys can see, who to contact and some addresses. Justin, over to you again. Where does one start? He wants to get involved in larger scales. Where does he start, and who does he contact if he needs more information?
Yes, I think it's very easy nowadays with social media, and we encourage guys to use even our website, which we're very proud of. All our information is on the website, including our mission statement and our committee structure and contact details. We're also active on Facebook, so that's hashtag large scale aerobatics. That's for Facebook. You can click on there and go and look at some videos and who to contact and pictures. There's even some setup videos there. So if some guys with airplanes that are keen, or they're actually also not too sure if they can come and fly large scale aerobatics. If you've got a 30cc stick, we urge you to come along. Come to a club, be it RMAC, Barnstormers, White Hills, Irene, that's in Gauteng. Even Jomac have got a couple of large scale guys, and bring along your stick. We can help you set it up. We can show you what to do. You can fly a basic schedule where it's things like a loop and a stall turn and very easy, maneuvers like that. And it'll actually improve your flying very quickly. Plus the fun element is that you can actually measure yourself from the next time you go fly, because you've flown a sequence, you've flown some maneuvers. The next time you go fly, you thought about it, you've had a week to go, right, this was what I'm doing wrong on the stall turn, let me try this, let me try that. Or let me ask somebody else how to correct it and make it look better.
Excellent. Well guys, just for your time and lending your ears and some of the behind the scenes information, giving it to us. So I Must Fly, we've got our own merch, believe it or not. So just for attending to this, we'll send each one of you a I Must Fly coffee mug.
Wow.
With a bit of a challenge. We would like to challenge the guys out there. As soon as you receive it, we would like to ask you for a 15 or 20 second video where you drink some coffee out of it, taking a small video, and then just giving a motivational quote out. I must fly, and that's the reason. And we would like to, and then you challenge another club to start the same thing. And we would like to see if we can grow that through some difficult times. And while we're having this interview, our thoughts really goes out to the guys in Durban and KwaZulu-Natal going through a very tough time now, and the guys in Gauteng where things are getting a bit rough. And we really hope that that will stop soon, and everybody will be free to move and free to fly as and when they want. And back to our SAMAA guys out there, please. Without your support on the I Must Fly YouTube channel, will be nothing. Thank you for all the views. Thank you for all the comments. And please share some information. We would really like to support the Sigs throughout all its entirety. It's very important that we talk to them, and we would like to make this an ongoing series. We learn who the faces are and what they're doing. And in future, we would like to talk about specific projects and specifically, type of airplanes and combinations and where clinics will be and how we're going to improve the skill and how can we draw more youngsters and girls into our sports, like we've learned last week with Yvette in the FPV SIG. So again, thank you guys. You must have a wonderful night and stay safe. And thank you to SAMAA. They are sponsoring this YouTube channel and whatever goes with that. And we appreciate that a lot. You guys must have a wonderful night until we see each other again.